Wait. All right,
Yeah.
you're good. Okay.
Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand. I don't care, I'm still free. You can't take
Welcome
the
to
side
First Reaction Fan Reaction Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Sure.
Yes.
I'm your host, Dara Whitman, and here with me is my co-host.
Okay, link with you.
Hey.
What's up, girl?
All right, well, we are going to conclude the show, Firefly.
Yeah.
Conclude the show. We're only good doing one episode because it's the last episode of the series, Objects in Space.
That's a great title.
All right, so let's begin.
Yes, good. Let's go.
Let's
roll.
So, like, right away, you were just like, oh, this is a river episode.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the opening shot is on river. I'm like, yes, a river episode.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been one of those in a while, I don't think. I think there's a lot of river episodes early on, and then they kind of
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so River's just kind of walking around the ship, and I was kind of wondering, I want your opinion on this. Like, do you think she's, like, breaking down a bit mentally? Or
it didn't seem like really too different than like how she was early on. We just didn't get to see inside of her brain.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think this is just viewing, like, peering inside of her brain and like kind of making those connections of like maybe what she was seeing earlier versus what we saw on the outside.
Yeah, because she's basically walking through the ship and she's like seeing people like just everything being normal. Simon and Kayla, she's being very cute.
Oh, it's very cute.
It's like playing with her feet. It's so cute. And I think she's like, because I'll bring this up. So basically, they say like she's a reader, so she's psychic.
Yeah.
And I think there was a question bringing up like, did the Alliance make her a psychic, or like was she just born psychic? Yeah. My opinion, I think she was just born being able to do that, and then the other stuff was the Alliance.
Yeah. They kind of hacked it.
So I think she can kind of, because like she's getting like, and I think like this episode kind of shows that like she does kind of like know what she is and like what she's doing to some people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
she's not completely unaware.
Well, the first thing that she reads is with Simon and basically saying, because like he's telling a story about like his time at doctor college.
Yeah.
Basically saying like she hears like, I'd be there right now. And she's thinking, I'd be there now if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
And that makes her upset because not just because of like, I think Simon thinks that like subconsciously, like in the very back of his mind.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because he definitely cares about River, and he like because like Simon could have just like stayed in doctor school and just like let River do things, but like no, he went.
Yeah.
So, but I think that kind of upsets her that like she also kind of like I think she thinks that like she ruined his life and is ruining his chances with Kaylee.
Yeah.
And then she meets Jane and Book, who were having a Jane discussion.
That was funny.
And then she reads like their like minds. But I just realized I found this interesting because Book basically is something like that's pretty negative and it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, well, it seemed like it wasn't a direct thought, but it was kind of like a weird sort of, I don't know, it seemed like weirdly flashbacky to me. Like it was.
I think it was again like subconscious.
Yeah.
But then I just remembered this, like, Jane's wasn't like, I hate you, because like, he's always been up like that. His thing was, I was stupid and I took the money, referring to Ariel.
Yeah,
that was a very like,
that's kind of like a duh kind of thing. It wasn't like a revelation of any sort.
No, it wasn't a revelation. That wasn't what I was going to say.
Yeah.
My point was that like, it wasn't I hate, like this girl's ruining can like get us all killed. It was a kind of like a realization for Jane that he was like, that was interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we got the weird scene with Zoe and Wash. Not what Zoe and Wash were doing. They were being okay.
Yeah.
But like River.
Yeah.
Was kind of like she just noticed it, and then she did she like feel that? I'm also thinking about that too now.
Oh.
But like the one thing about this episode is very like philosophical and very Joss Whedon.
Yes.
So we can bring stuff up and we can discuss it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she's like thinking like she's never gonna have that.
I guess I think it was like more of like a sensory overload in a sense.
That
Like
could be
she
true.
like saw
She did.
it, but then she like empathized with it. Or
Yeah,
like,
because we
read
actually
it.
did explain that like her emotions were like really messed up.
Yeah, so it's just like really there and like really present, and it's like really like whoo. Yeah.
And then we get Inara and Mal, and they're kind of talking about her going away.
The events from the previous episode. Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. And I actually want to, and we'll bring up, I want to, before we get to the bit that River heard with them, I want to talk about there's an alternate scene for that. Because the network aired it so that article didn't air. So like it wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah.
So the replacement scene was Inara threatening to leave the ship because she's not getting in, like basically the typical conversation, like I'm going to leave the ship because I'm not getting enough opportunity.
Yeah.
But then they changed it because this scene actually made more sense.
Right.
But the thing that she reads with them is, what was it? Basically them just, it was like her basically saying that they weren't, like they wanted them to be together.
Yeah.
And like that's what they're saying sometimes. Like, can you just like say it? And then Mal's like, there's no point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad. And then she finds a stick.
She finds a stick, and it's like, oh, yes, a nice stick in the middle of a space ship. It's all fun and good.
Yeah.
Nothing bad about that.
And then, but it turns out, not a stick.
No.
It's a gun.
It was a gun.
Which, okay, I put this in my notes. Why was there a gun there?
Why was there just a gun hanging
More
out in the
importantly,
open?
why was there a loaded gun?
Yeah.
With the safety off?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
right there.
Just hanging out in the open.
Like, the only thing I could think was that, like, maybe, like, River took it sometime, like, while we didn't notice it, but, like...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's the only thing I could think of, but then she steps on it. And, like, when did she drop it?
I don't know.
So, like, somebody was
There's just a whole lot of weird things going on there.
Well, she says the point that, basically, like, there's, like, too much going on and, like, with people's minds. So, like, she's clearly, like, she's just, like, been reading a lot at one point. And, like, I think a lot of it is just, like, her also just, like, having all these, like, emotions.
Yeah.
So she just is, like, not really great. And you can tell that she's thinking that she's ruining everybody's life.
Yeah.
Because she's on the ship. She's, like, putting them at risk.
Yeah.
And it's just not good.
Nope.
And then they have a discussion about it. They're basically saying, like, we think she's a reader and we don't know what to do with her. Kaylee brings up the point that in War Story, she killed people.
Yeah, she just straight up was like, oh, I can't look. I'm like, straight up murdered 3 people.
Yeah. And Simon is a bit upset. I get why he's upset, though.
Yeah.
It's his little sister.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, and they have that bit. And, like, you're worried because at this point, like, Kaylee says something not right. Yeah. And Simon is upset, and you're kind of wondering how that's going to end up.
Yep.
Ends up nicer than, like, usually.
Yeah, it turned out pretty nice.
Yeah, and, like, basically, they bring up this point, which I think is shown later on, that, like, Simon says River loves this ship.
Yeah.
And then Kaylee says, like, do you like, what do you think? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, do you know anything like about the ship? And he does the right thing, does not say anything, and is about to kiss her.
He just goes for it.
And then fucking Book
just walks right in.
And he, like, comes just like, God damn it.
He just blocked it.
Ruined it. You son of a bitch. And then anyway, I think the decision is, like, we'll discuss this more in the morning. Mm-hmm. So then everybody's about to go to sleep. And then, early. Mm-hmm. What do you think of early, like, your first reaction?
I didn't have to think of it at first because I'm like, this seems like an important character.
You said, like, he had a nice...
because he has a red suit.
Well, like, at first, like, you
red
see him... at first you see him and he's on a ship and he's got, like, a wanted poster for River. So it's clear that he's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
And then he just wants to get River.
Yeah.
But, like, did you think of, like, how... Like, you knew that clearly he was going to be the bad guy, but, like, with bounty hunters, like... I never, because, like, my thing is, like, oh, they're swinging for the money.
Yeah, exactly. So they can kind of go, there's, like, a sliding scale of, like, how actually bad they are.
So how do you think how bad he was when you, like, first knew him?
I didn't really form an opinion yet, because I know I needed to wait more to see. It was kind of, like, as time went on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, first, because, like, you were wondering, like, he sneaks on the ship, and Mal, like, just goes to sleep.
Yeah.
He, like, just gets in the thing, and we're like, Mal, did you not hear that?
He probably should have heard that.
Well, he did, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Because he gets out there, they have a fight.
Yep.
And he knocks him out cold. But we also bring up one point, like, he was outside of the ship listening in.
Yeah.
So I think the idea was, like, he started to understand them.
Yeah.
And that he could probably defeat them.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of, yeah. And then he runs into Kaylee, and they have a conversation.
Oh, my.
And then he says the line, which is, you ever been raped?
And it came out of nowhere.
And you were like,
I was not expecting it. It was just like a conversation. He was talking about, like, an engine or something, and all of a sudden he's like, you ever been raped? And I was
how'd you feel about that?
Were
you scared?
It was just so, it was like such a, like, just a kind of a wham kind of line.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it, but it was really interesting.
Well, then he basically threatens her, and it's basically just kind of like, I'm going to tie you up, and you're going to tell me where a river is, and I'm going to tie you up, and if you say anything, like, I'm not going to hurt you unless you say something, and then I will rape you.
Yeah.
Which,
that was like,
did that make you get a feeling?
It was really intense, yeah.
Did you get the feeling now how bad this guy was?
It was just an intense scene, yeah. I think it was.
This whole episode was intense.
Really, I think it established the character well.
Well, I have this, like, I had this point, because, like, I kind of have this opinion. I'm not sure if you agree with me. If you cannot agree with me, you don't want to. But I kind of find, like, when it comes to between, like, the difference between, like, raping and, like, murdering, I kind of find raping to be worse.
Yeah.
Because, like, with, like, a killing, like yes, there is like the thing where you just like do it in cold blood.
Yeah.
But there's like other times like you're doing it for revenge or like this person's a bad person
Right.
or like an accident.
Yeah.
But like rape, like you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
So like, he is fully aware what
Yeah.
he's doing.
No,
and he even says like it's just a body.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
It was like, what?
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree.
Then he knocks out Book.
Yep.
And then Simon comes to check it out, which it was a really intense moment, but we were kind of distracted by Simon's a bit topless in the scene.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
we got to try. I don't know how he gets that chiseled for a nerd, for like a nerdy doctor.
I don't know, but I wasn't complaining.
Yeah. And then it was like, and then even like more weirdness. And like he talks about philosophy, and there's that weird thing where Simon's like, "Are you a lion?" And he's like, "Am I a lion?"
Yep.
It's like, I'm like, he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Okay." But basically, he basically says, he brings up a good threat, basically saying like, "You got to help me find River, or I'm gonna kill you." And then Simon's kind of like, "I'm not gonna." Like do that.
It's like, yeah.
But then he's good. But then he gets the thing like this. Like, I got the mechanic tied up.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hurt her.
Yeah.
When he goes,
ways.
And then he's like, okay, I don't think obviously he wasn't gonna give up River.
No.
That's ridiculous. I think it was more just like, I'm gonna help you follow you around, and hopefully somebody else will.
Yeah. Well, then he brings up the line. He's like, well, you could either not, then I kill you right here, or you can find your chance to do it later. I was really interesting. I don't know.
And then they just like go around the ship trying to find him. And there even is that point where like he says he finds his chance, and then he's like, not your chance.
that was really good.
They go into Inara's ship, and he waxes more. There's so much philosophy in this episode.
Yeah.
He waxes more philosophy. Smacks Inara. It's like, don't question my intentions.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a weird thing about like
rough.
only a woman can have a baby. Do you think that seems fair? He says that a lot. Like, does that seem fair? I'm just like, this guy's
yeah.
He makes you uncomfortable, which is like when it comes to like Joss Whedon stuff, he's probably one of my favorite like villains because he's just so intense and uncomfortable.
He's a really compelling villain, like really compelling antagonist. I really like the character. Actually, I think it's just a really interesting take on the whole thing.
I don't know. I mean, granted, I don't know like how much like if the show continued. I don't know like if you could have this villain on again. Like I don't know if you could be good as like a continuing villain, just like or just a one off. But like I wonder. Like spoiler. We'll get to it.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
And then you hear something over the intercom, and it's River. And she says, I have melted into the ship.
I melted.
I became the ship.
I am Serenity.
But then she knows all the stuff about Early, and that his mom's all bad in him. And she's also like she's also like getting to the other people and basically saying like, Kaylee, you gotta like shut down the ship.
Yeah, she's like communicating with all the other people.
With Zoe, and then Zoe and Wash wake up because they don't wake up.
It takes them a while to get up.
Like Zoe, Wash, and Jane don't wake up at the beginning, basically. Jane doesn't wake up.
Jane just doesn't wake up at all.
There's the funny bit, which came at the right moment, literally.
That's fantastic.
He basically just like wakes up for a second, grabs this like cloth thing that covers his gun, and you're like, oh yeah, and then he just
but then he uses it as a blanket, which makes it really funny.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was a really great moment.
Yeah. And then they continue the conversation, and then Early comes to the conclusion, which you came to very early, that she wasn't part of the ship, she was on his ship.
Yeah, that was really easy for me to get.
You know what I remember this the first time I watched it?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Not that I didn't think she became part of the ship. No. I honestly thought there was a way for her to like go in between like that, like the walls. Oh, I thought that. And she got an intercom. I thought she was there.
That makes sense.
That's where I thought she was the first, and then they did the ship thing. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, so then, but it turns out she's on his ship and just like doing all the stuff. And I think you kind of realize like Early and River are kind of similar because like you see like the things where like the thing I liked, Joss Whedon is the only one who does it, like with when people like showing like they don't have like good mental capacity, they just like do like flashes to like like cuts, like really quick cuts to, which I really like because that's really creepy.
It was really interesting. It was really cut well. I really liked the camera work in this episode. The beginning was really great, like how that was, and then like how it was cut later on. I think I really liked how like the direction of this episode. I really liked.
But then basically River's like, no, I'm gonna come with you, and like River's like, what are you doing? Like Simon's like, what are you doing? And like there's a really nice moment with River because like, and she basically like, I'm gonna go with him, and then you guys can go back to being a normal life, being with who you love. It's really sad because like obviously we like say like, oh yeah, River's a bit crazy, but like she's like, and she is crazy, but she's aware of. I think she's fully aware of the fact that like she's not right, and the fact that she's just like. in her opinion, destroying people's lives and like risking their life.
Yeah.
Which is like really sad. And Summer Glau did a really good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like I say.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
Sorry.
But then and then she gets more upset because Simon's like, no. Fights off early, and then he gets shot. And they show it so that like you weren't out there where he gets shot. So he got shot in the leg, he's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. And then basically Mal comes in, they have another fight. And then Mal's confrontation, and then Early gets off of the ship, and then he's about like making good saying they River made a good decision.
Yeah.
But then Mal comes up and is like, nope, punt, and then like kicks him, and then he goes flying into space. And then River comes back on the ship, which like I did point this out. Like I thought it was gonna that took really quickly for Mal to wake up. But then like if you think about it, like he had to get to the point and then put his helmet back on.
Yeah,
so like it probably did take a little bit of time. And then River comes out, and then Mal and River have a really cute moment. Yeah, like a nice little like. Like I said, I wonder like if the show went on what their relationship would be.
Yeah, there was definitely room for it to grow into something.
It could have even I really liked it.
Yeah,
and then so we go back to the infirmary, and Zoe's trying to remove the bullet from.
She's trying to do surgery as Simon directs,
and Wash is being washed.
Oh, Wash! What a guy!
What a guy!
What a fella!
And then Mal and Inara have a bit of a moment.
Yeah, sort of. And then she's like, "Nah,
we're good.
Nah, brah."
Yep. And then Kaylee and River playing Jax.
That was fun.
And then and then it ends with Early just flying in space.
He's just
be like, "Welp,
well, this happened." Yep.
Yeah, and I think that was a good amount. So what do you think of River, like as a character?
At first I was like, she's all right, but I think I was kind of warming up to her as the show went on, especially in this episode. I think I was starting to like her.
But like, I think it's not. She becomes not just the crazy person. She becomes a person,
right? Yeah.
Okay, so the big thing I want to talk about with this episode is existentialism. Because that's a big thing.
Oh, yes.
I think we're going to do it briefly just because it comes up a lot more in other Joss Whedon stuff. That's like his big philosophy. Specifically comes up a lot more in Buffy and Angel.
Okay.
And like stuff like that. And it's basically, if you listen to the DVD commentary, it's really fascinating. If you have the DVD, listen to the commentary. It's really good. Mostly Joss Whedon does really good commentaries. And basically, he says in the commentary that much of the dialogue was inspired by Jean-Paul Sartre. It's French. And his novel Nausea. Okay. And which is basically like a big philosophy book. Yeah. And do you know existentialism?
Yeah.
Like the idea of it? Okay. I don't know if we should discuss it, basically.
Yeah, if you want to give a brief
the definition
overview. Yeah.
I know like a little bit. I don't know much of it. Basically, the idea is that like the universe is like indifferent to you. Yeah. And it's kind of like the philosophy that I kind of like, because like the universe is indifferent to you. And I don't remember other parts. It's kind of confusing for me. Like, I know the universe is indifferent, and then it's just kind of like the universe isn't going to decide your fate. You decide your fate. Right. I think that's kind of it. Yeah. If you want to explain it a bit better.
I'm not really sure if I can explain it. I guess I don't have a good enough grasp on it. Let me just.
I can look. I have the link. Hold on.
Dictionary. Existentialism, a philosophical theory or approach that emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of will. Yeah, so it's like anti-destiny, pro do whatever the hell you want.
Basically saying, yeah, because the universe is going to give you like situations where you're not going to be happy, and like it's not going to help you out later in life because they don't care. And it's kind of like my kind of thing, like where I see it basically like I like that philosophy just because like the idea is like if there is like a heaven and like a universe, and, like it's getting you to someplace, then what's the point in living? Let's like live now. Word philosophy. Anyway, but the essay that was from Nauseam, which Joss Whedon used, is the essay called "We're All Just Floating in Space." Just in and I think it's like Lyle Zinda, and he analyzed the interpretation basically that if you argue from both River and Early's perspective, that physical objects and divorce them from their meaning. So like River didn't see a gun, which he used to kill people. Neither did Early with his thing. He just describing the gun. He didn't describe the function of the gun. And River just all stick. And then, so that kind of thing. And basically, when you divorce it from the actual meaning, you make up your own meaning. Right. And because I was focusing on this because I didn't notice it at first, and I was kind of like saying that you maybe should focus it on it too, kind of. But like when River's walking, they focus on her feet because as she's walking, because she walks around the ship with her feet, because then you can feel the ship,
with bare
you
feet.
can feel the object.
Yeah.
And he basically describes the title as people don't appreciate the substance of things, objects in space. It is the physical implication of the world without morals, the moral implication of which. Okay. And then it comes up later in Angel, which I'm not going to say the quote because it actually is a nice one.
Yeah.
And it'll come up later.
Okay.
And there's also, hold on. So, and they say like, so if you compare like River and Early, the idea is that they divorce objects from their meaning. And that means that they can that these objects can mean something different to them.
Right.
And the difference between them is that Early kind of sees it in like a negative way, and he like doesn't like it. Like he just sees stuff as like something that he can use.
Yeah.
And like destroy stuff. When River is a lot more positive, and she does want to like have a positive influence on people and like bring joy. And there's also the idea of bad faith, which is another concept that I looked up.
Ooh.
Which is what?
I don't know. I like the sound. I like where it's going.
Let me try to find the definition real quick. Is a philosophical concept used by existentialism to describe the phenomenon where human beings, under pressure from social forces, adapt false values and disown their innate freedom, hence acting inauthentically.
Hey guys, this is Kaylin. Sorry for the interruption, but due to technical difficulties, episode 8 of First Reaction Fan Reaction does not have an ending. Missing our final thoughts on this episode and Firefly as an entire series? Well, you can check those out and more on our review of Serenity on episode 9 of First Reaction Fan Reaction. Until then, please give us a like on Facebook at Witty Close, follow us on Twitter at Witty Close, or email us at wittyclose@gmail.com. Don't forget to give this episode a like and comment down below. We love hearing your thoughts. Thanks so much. See you next time on First Reaction Fan Reaction. Peace!
You can't take the sky from me.